how they do marketing and selling. We heard about the impact of the internet, and we heard one of our entrepreneurs is a marketer and helps companies find innovative ways to get their word out. And so, Glenn, are you here? You want to just raise your hand a minute in the back there? We heard a little bit about how he works with promotional. Oh, sorry, just right. So we heard a little bit about that particularly, and again, our session was mature companies, and so as they have to really retool themselves in terms of their marketing strategies constantly. And then lastly, we discussed the importance of maintaining partnerships with your bankers, but also your other resource providers over time. You know, it's one thing when you need them, but it's important to also keep them there and keep that relationship when you don't need them, because you can learn things, you can adapt, you can find new information. We heard a little bit from an IT company that has seen their employees dip below that 5-employee number, which then meant that a number of their providers, payroll, et cetera, were becoming more costly. And so that idea that you really need to be networked to make sure you're taking the best advantage of all those providers and other services. So that's our conclusion. I will shift over. Willie, are you ready to do your debrief?
Yeah, just real quickly. Our session was on growth businesses, and that could be at various different stages. So it could be a business that's technically ideally 3 to 5 years, but in some instances it could be businesses 2 to 3 years. In our particular group, I was the moderator, Oscar from the Contra Costa SBDC, Mark Quinn from the SBA, Michelle Ariala from the Valley Economic Development, Justin Curry right here in the front, as well as Pat Collins from Wells Fargo, and then Erwin, one of our sponsors, was also in our group. Really the big focus was on growth and what do you look at and what determines when a business should grow and how should they grow. We looked at when you're looking at growth, one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that businesses understood is don't grow for the sake of growing, that it should be sustainable growth and you should be able to fund that particular growth at various different stages. So you can be successful without having, 10%, 100% growth. So really look at that very carefully. Make sure that you have a business plan, you alter that business plan, you look at how that growth is tied into that business plan, and then ultimately you look at the different resources that are available to help fund you at that stage. An interesting part of our conversation also looked at, we use this word a lot, but the 3 C's. We talked about the cash flow, we talked about collateral, and we talked about the character. We had a very in-depth discussion on what is collateral and what do the banks look at, and also some of your other resources look at as it relates to collateral, and how does that play into a decision as it relates to your financing. The other thing that we talked about, I think that I'm trying to lost my thought. The collateral, the funding of it. What were some of the others, Erin, that we talked about? Character, yeah, we talked about the character and the ability from a personal standpoint of history as it relates to your personal credit, looking at whether individuals had liened judgments, those types of things against their personal credit history. I think that was kind of it in a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
George, start up.
While George is getting, there was one thing that I missed my thought. It was a point was made up about how to connect, because we're talking about the SBA and looking at when a business is trying to grow and start a business and working with the local cities and trying to get them from a licensing standpoint to make sure that they know all of the resources and connecting those small businesses to those resources when you're in that licensing stage of the business. And so we did some conversation around there. I think Mark had made a comment that for the larger cities, we do have that connection. Those cities are tied in. They do give that information and make sure that the resources are available. We have to do a better job as it relates to connecting the smaller cities with those types of resources that help those businesses as they get ready to grow.
All right, and I was with the startup group, and we actually had a really good conversation and ran till the very last minute. And some of the, okay. All right. And so with the startup group, a lot of the conversation came around financing, how to finance your business, what financing is available. And so we had AP from Wells Fargo Bank, and also, Jeff Hall from the SBDC, and also Larry Tesler from SCORE. And so we had a great group of panelists that shared in terms of, if you are trying to start up your business, what funding is available, what kind of collateral do you need to get started, what kind of packages are available. So they would get some of those questions answered. Also, another big item that was discussed was mentoring. For a lot of startups, how do I get access to support services, other professionals that maybe have been successful? And so SCORE was really useful in sharing how they have a number of advisors that provide service at no cost to businesses that are looking at starting. Because SCORE is a Service Corps of Retired Executives, so they have people that have already been through the entire business phase, business cycle, and understand the different levels. And so they were really useful in sharing what you need in terms of getting that mentorship, what to prepare for, and also with the Small Business Development Center, how they have a number of different business advisors that provide consulting services to businesses at no cost as well. And so between those two resources, and for those of you who weren't able to attend ours, definitely take advantage of those resources because they are available to you. Another thing we talked about was really franchising is one thing. How do you, if you're not looking at maybe starting your own business on your own, but going into franchising, how do you access that? And so we have the representative from FranNet that share, that's available to them. And then the other thing we talked about was business planning. One thing we realized was about a third of the room didn't have a business plan, and some of them may not be in business, and that's okay. But they understood, thank goodness, please don't. But just the importance of really planning your business, because without the plan, like I said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But really, if you don't have the plan, you don't know where you're going, how to get there, and that you will incur a lot of costs for a number of years before you get to that break-even point. And so understanding your plan will help you at least realize that it's going to take a while to make money. And if you understand that, then you'll be a little more patient, a little more understanding about what you're doing in your business. So we had a really great group, lively group. Did get a lot of our surveys back, and I just want to plug the surveys again. For those of you who did not submit your surveys, make sure you do. We do have a 2-for-1, but not 2-for-1, take that back. Please don't get me in trouble. No. Okay, you got me, all right. What it is $10 off, because I don't get in trouble with Santiago Soto. It's $10 off for a 2-entree order at Outback Steakhouse. So it's a really good value. And also we do have the one prize is the $45 voucher for Outback, outright. And then we also do have the $50 from Staples gift card. So make sure you turn those evaluations, not just for the prizes or the rewards, but really give us the feedback we need so we can, again, we're doing these more, and we're doing more of these. We want to make sure we meet your needs as we're doing this. So that's about it for me. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Rick, you want to be over there? Okay, so our next group, Rick Ulrich from the Alameda County SBDC, pinch hit for us this morning.
Thanks. I'm not going to plug the surveys, sorry. We had a great group. We had Michelle Day from the Contra Costa Small Business Development Center. We had Lynn Fernandez from Valley Economic Development. We had James Cogan from East Bay SCORE, Mark Raffield from Wells Fargo, and Lola Robinson from the SBA. I would say that, and I think the group was terrific, I would say that a lot of our themes seemed, based on what I heard from George, to echo the themes that were in the sort of startup group. Specifically, we talked a lot about the different criteria for getting a loan, different types of lenders, where SBA fit in the process, and really, I think, communicated pretty firm sounding or education in terms of financing moving forward for a lot of folks in the room. There was a real good discussion on mentoring, access to resources, how to find out about resources, and link to available regional resources. So I think that was as good as well. I would only add that at the end, I kind of wanted to know from the group what types of things we could do to support businesses moving forward. What kind of things would help you that we're not doing besides just being there and making sure that you knew we were there. And a couple of really good suggestions came up. One was somebody suggested that maybe there's a way to create networking opportunities for folks in the same stage of business in different areas around the county. So people have the ability to form a group and get together. Maybe that's Skype, or maybe it's coffee once a month, but get together and just talk about common problems and be able to create a forum where they can share ideas. The last one, which I had never thought of, which was, I think, fantastic, was for all those folks out there that have businesses that are working 60 or 70 hours a week and don't have the time to come to a 3-hour class, have a very difficult time to break away from their daily grind to try to find out what's out there, to create something that, in multiple languages, that's sort of quick hitting, that people might be able, my suggestion was sort of a 3-minute video that was posted online, but something that folks could maybe access in their own time, or at least access in a very quick hitting fashion to get some help and some ideas for their business, maybe on a daily or weekly basis. And I thought that was fantastic. So again, my thanks to the participants in our group and their suggestions and contributions.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Mary Pifo, Contra Costa County supervisors from District 3. And I just want to say a few words about Mary. I think many of you know her of her work. She is truly a visionary leader. She is a leader of the whole region. It is through her vision that work in terms of our infrastructure, water, air quality. She now serves on a number of very important regional boards, but also our economy. And I think Mary comes at all of this work through the lens of the economy, supporting business, and creating jobs. And so as my vice chair of East Bay EDA's board, she's been a singular voice in making sure that we think regionally across the East Bay about how we improve the business climate, how we support companies, and how we create jobs. And so it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Mary.
Well, good morning, everybody. Do you have a good day today? And it's just starting, right? We're not even at lunchtime. I'd like to thank you all for being here and investing in our community, our county, our region. Without all of you working hard in small business, medium business, big business, without banking, without training, without tutorials, without access to the information, the education, we aren't going to be successful, and we're not going to get ourselves out of this recession, this bad economy. No one of us can do it singularly. Collectively, we can. We have in many ways, but there's a lot more work to do. Those of us in East County, Far East County particularly, we grow small businesses very well. A lot of it is out of need and desire and personal innovation, but a lot of it is because we don't want to face traffic on Highway 4, commuting 2 hours plus a day or more, and having our lives and our quality of life affected by that one element. So we're here, so how do we make our lives better? And you being here today is one way that we can do that. And from a governmental perspective, yes, I'm here to help, but I can't help you unless you give us the opportunity and the resources through East Bay EDA, and again, our partners that are here today. So thank you all very much. I have a few words and folks to recognize, but we want to make sure that we have access for you, and that every dollar that's available, you know it's there, and you know how to get it, to get your hands on it. Our partners at Inner City Advisors are planning to follow up with you, so those questionnaires are very, very important. We're going to have a networking session following this presentation so that you can have more of those follow-up questions answered before you leave today. And if you don't get them answered today, you'll have access to that information of who to connect back with. These folks are here to help you as we are. And with the representatives available from each resource organization, I'd like you to stand and be recognized. The Contra Costa and Alameda County Small Business Development Center folks I know are here. The U.S. Small Business Administration. USSBA, I think I saw a handout, and there you go. Thank you. The Valley Economic Development Center East Bay SCORE. In the Governor's Office of Business and Economics. We got a sneak peek earlier. He's still going to be here. The California Employment Training Panel. East Bay Works of Contra Costa County. In the Bay Area Development Company. Again, thank you. And our major sponsors, Mechanics Bank and Wells Fargo Bank. Thank you all. Again, make sure you complete the evaluation form. There is a prize for those. It's not a mega million lottery, unfortunately, but I'm sure it's a prize you will be interested in. And there are more East Bay EDA events coming up. In Berkeley on July 31st, in Danville on September 18th, and in Fremont on November 8th. And then share information that you gain here with your friends, your neighbors, your community. And then there's also a website, ebsmallbusiness.com. And again, thank you for coming today, for your investment in community, letting us know how we can help you. And if you haven't knocked on the door, if you need help, find the door, knock on it, and we'll be there to answer it. Thank you all very much.
I miscued him before, but now we get to cue the governor's office, Justin Curry, who represents GoBiz, the governor's office for business and economic development, and he's here to present to East Bay EDA, so I'm going to step over here, a very important proclamation.
My apologies earlier. This is like a hot potato trying to get it out of my hands. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Governor Jerry Brown and on behalf of the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, we would like to thank all of you for attending today, and more importantly, thank you for your commitment to doing business in California. We'd like to thank the East Bay EDA, along with Wells Fargo, Mechanics Bank, and all the sponsors of this event for taking time to put this together to inform the community, to inform the small business community about resources available to them. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to present this proclamation by Governor Jerry Brown proclaiming that May 2012 is Small Business Month.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's one of a handful that's actually signed by the Governor and the Secretary of State. So,
And if the governor says it's true, it is true. Right, Justin? Thank you, Justin.